Hello, welcome back to Pat's Movie Mania. This is volume number 10. We're up to number 10 already. How about that? Last week's got so many views, I decided to keep it rolling. So, we're going to do a couple of movies. We're going to do our top 10 list, which this year, if I'm not mistaken, is 1987. And we're going to have our first actress spotlight tonight instead of directors. So, first movie we're going to review is from 2015. This is called Black Mass. And again, I hate to keep harping on it, but I'm a fan of true stories, or at least stuff that's based on true stories, historical kind of stuff. Black Mass is a story of Whitey Bulger, a well-known Eastern gangster who controlled quite a bit of his area. And the Martin Scorsese movie The Departed was based on him also, although they didn't use his real name. Jack Nicholson played the character in that. And this one, Johnny Depp plays him. They use the real names. Um, and he does a good job, as usual. The thing about this movie is not only is it realistic, gritty, and violent, it's the cast is just amazing. I'll go through these names, and you just won't believe how many good actors in this, which to me usually makes a good movie. I'll have to read them off the thing because you got Johnny Depp. Joel Edgerton plays the FBI agent who tries to get him to rat on his other gangsters. Benedict Cumberbatch, Dakota Johnson, Kevin Bacon, Peter Sarsgaard, Jesse Plemons, Roy Cochran, David Harbour, Adam Scott, Corey Stoll, Julianne Nicholson, Bill Camp, one of my favorites, Juno Tempo, also one of my favorites, who meets a bad end in this movie, but I won't give that away. Some of the scenes of the murders were actually filmed where they were actually occurred, from what I read. Um, Again, a very violent movie. If you're not into that, I would skip this. But it is a realistic movie about Whitey Bulger, who was ended up being killed in prison after he was arrested. Um, and you'll see that the FBI agent played by Joel Edgerton in this movie becomes almost a criminal himself because he so badly wants to turn Bulger into an informant, and he ends up getting in trouble himself. Very good movie. Not available anywhere right now except for rental. That's from 2015. Black Mass. Good title too, I thought. Second one movie we're gonna review goes back a little further to 2006. Has some similarities to Black Mass, but it's not. It's more about a law enforcer rather than a lawbreaker, and that is The Good Shepherd. The story of the nascent CIA being formed by Robert De Niro, who played a character based on Wild Bill Donovan, who started the OSS, which eventually evolved into the CIA. And Matt Shepard, who had just graduated from Yale, becomes one of their first recruits and first major agents. And he's a very repressed figure. His wife is played by Angelina Jolie, who they hardly see each other because of what he does. But he's very dedicated to what he does. He's just not very dedicated to his family. Robert De Niro actually directs this, and he also plays, like I said, not Wild Bill Donovan, but they don't use his name. The Matt Damon character was based on James Angleton, from what I understand. And it's a long movie. It's about 3 hours, but it holds your interest. Now, Robert De Niro, they say, used The Godfather as his template for this movie. And at the end, you'll understand what that means if you watch the whole movie. Uh, and it involves Matt Damon's son, who's amazingly played by Eddie Redmayne in this movie. And I won't give away what happens to his fiancee, but let's just say it's Godfather-like. And again, a good cast. Alec Baldwin, Billy Crudup, William Hurt, Timothy Hutton plays Matt Damon's father in the early scenes. Joe Pesci has a small role. John Turturro is Matt Damon's right-hand man. Again, one of my favorites. It's 3 hours. It's available on Netflix. If you like spy stuff, you're going to like this movie. So that's Good Shepherd. from 2006, available on Netflix, which brings us to our top 10 list this year, 1987. We're up to 1987 already. So I'm going to start at number 10, and we've got, I think, two Vietnam-based movies on this list, and the first one is Full Metal Jacket. This is Stanley Kubrick's Vietnam movie. It's actually two movies. The first part of the movie, the first half, is Marine recruits at Paris Island and what they have to go through and what happens there. Um, and then the second half is the recruits actually in Vietnam and what they have to go through there. The first half is much better, I thought, and most critics agree that the first half is great and the second half waned a bit, but all in all, still a good movie. And usually anything from Kubrick is going to be a good movie, so I'd check it out. You've got Vincent D'Onofrio plays a very, very important role. R. Lee Ermey in his first role as the drill sergeant. Matthew Modine, Arliss Howard, Adam Baldwin. A lot of good people in it. The first half, again, much better as the recruits are at Paris Island, especially with Vincent D'Onofrio's part. That is available on Tubi. You can see that for free. That's Full Metal Jacket. Second one is also Vietnam-based movie, but it's not really that violent or anything. It focuses more on something else. That's Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams as DJ Adrian Cronauer, or at least based on DJ Adrian Cronauer, who was on the Radio Saigon for the troops in Vietnam. Now, very funny stuff from Robin Williams. From what I've read, the real Adrian Cronauer wasn't quite as funny, but he was entertaining. There's a lot of good scenes in it. One of the first uses of Louis Armstrong's "It's a Wonderful World" in a really poignant scene toward the end. Robin Williams got an Oscar nomination for this, and it has its moments, definitely. Number 9 on my list, available on Paramount Network. That is Good Morning Vietnam. Number 8, well overlooked movie that you really hard to find anymore. It's just the Hollywood Shuffle. Robert Townsend's homage to how black actors are stereotyped in the movies. Funny. There's some scenes in this that are just laugh out loud, hilarious. Townsend does a great job writing, directing, and starring in this movie. It's also available on Prime Video. You can find it there if you have that. Which brings us to number 7, and that is the comedy Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Another good movie from John Hughes. When you have Steve Martin and John Candy in it, I don't know how you could lose, and you don't. They both do great jobs in this. A lot of funny stuff, especially from John Candy. So sad that he passed away so young. But Steve Martin is also good, more as the straight man in this movie. But he's always great too. So what do you got to lose? That's unfortunately only available for rental. And that is number 7 on my list, which brings us to number 6, and that is Fatal Attraction. This is a movie that, it was changed a lot of how Hollywood thought. A lot of people copied it. It's still being copied today. The story of Michael Douglas, who has an affair with Glenn Close, and then she goes kind of bonkers on him when he doesn't want to keep seeing her. And by bonkers, I mean really bonkers. Ann Archer plays Michael Douglas's wife in this, and very erotic movie, very good. The only thing I didn't like is the ending, and from what I was told, the ending they originally filmed was more downbeat and arty, but test audiences didn't like it, so they changed it to more of a slasher type ending, which didn't impress me that much. But the rest of the movie up until that point was good, so we'll give it a shot there. Which brings us number 5, one of my guilty pleasures. Not too many critics like this, but I thought it was really interesting. This is No Way Out, a spy movie with Kevin Costner in one of his first big roles after JFK, or before JFK, I should say, and Sean Young and Gene Hackman, who's always good. It's all Washington, D.C. based. He plays a naval hero who's recruited to cover up Gene Hackman's personal problems. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to give away too much of the plot. There's a big twist ending at the end, which a lot of people didn't like, which I thought was just fine. Will Patton, one of his first big roles, was very impressive in this. That's No Way Out. That's available also on Tubi, which is free. So check it out. Brings us to number 4, another Michael Douglas movie, Wall Street. Uh, Another good movie from Oliver Stone, whose father was a stockbroker, and he dedicated this movie to him. And of course, Michael Douglas plays Gordon Gekko, a corporate raider. Charlie Sheen plays the naive stockbroker. And from what I understand, Charlie Sheen was on a bender during most of this filming, but he still did a pretty decent job. But Michael Douglas won the Academy Award for Best Actor for this movie, and it was well deserved. Um, James Spader is also in it. A lot of good people. Sean Young again as Michael Douglas's wife, and Saul Rubinek. It's just another good Oliver Stone movie. Doesn't have a lot of his weirdness in it, just straightforward kind of thing. They made a sequel to it. Wasn't that great, but it was watchable. But this one from 1987, well, available only for rental, Wall Street. You'll see it referenced in a lot of movies that are about stockbrokers now, but this was the first one, and it did well. I think it's number 3, a little-known movie from one of my favorite directors who will feature soon on the Director's Spotlight, and that's John Sayles. This is Manawan, the story of coal miners trying to form a union in West Virginia, and very low-key, as most John Sayles movies are. He also gives himself a role, which he usually does. Chris Cooper is basically the star. He was very young at the time. There's Joe Grafossi, a lot of good people in this, and what the unions, the miners had to go through to try to get a union, and how violent they were attacked and beaten, and you know the story. That's Manawan. That's also available only on rental from John Sayles. Bring us number 2. This is called The Untouchables, which to me is one of the best. I would almost call it a perfect movie. A lot of people didn't like it because they said it wasn't realistic, but it wasn't supposed to be realistic, as neither was the TV show that it was based on. It's the story of Elliot Ness trying to get Al Capone in jail, which he eventually succeeds. Kevin Costner, this was a big year for him. He had No Way Out, he had other stuff, and he was just the whole movie here. Well, I wouldn't say it was the whole movie, as Sean Connery played the Irish cop that helps him out, and he won Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for this. Also, is Andy Garcia. Patricia Clarkson plays Elliot Ness's wife, and Andy Garcia was probably my favorite supporting character in this, along with Charles Martin Smith. And there's some scenes that are just amazing. The shootout in the subway. It's just the time and place is recreated wonderfully by Brian De Palma, who directed this. And no, it wasn't probably all fact, but it certainly was a great and entertaining movie. Which brings us number 1. And if you know anything about my tastes, you'll know that Coen Brothers have a lot of my number 1 movies. This is another one. This was one of their first mainstream hits, Raising Arizona. And the premise, as most of their movie premises are, is very strange. And it's Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter want to have a baby. They can't, so there's a rich guy in Arizona, who's also named Arizona, who has like quintuplets, or I don't know how many kids they had, but they decide to kidnap one because they won't miss them, right? They have enough babies as it is. So Nicolas Cage goes about kidnapping one of the babies and brings it home to Holly Hunter, and a lot of chaos ensues. Let me put it that way. John Goodman John Goodman plays one of the Nicolas Cage ex-prison mates, along with William Forsythe. They really bring a lot to the movie. The chase scenes are unbelievable. The camera angles they use, as you know, are just always amazing and bring a lot to the movie. The story itself, as bizarre as it is, really entertains. There's a scene with Frances McDormand as she comes in to see the babies, and she's just hilarious. And this is one of their first mainstream movies after Blood Simple. This is available on both. No, this is available only for rental, which I forgot to mention. The Untouchables is available on Paramount and Pluto, which is free. So, but Raising Arizona, my number one movie, is not free. It's available only for rental, but it's real well worth the $3.99 if you can find it. Which brings us to our first actress spotlight, which today we're featuring Joan Allen, who has been always been one of my favorite actresses and very underrated. She was nominated 3 times for an Academy Award. Why she hasn't won or been nominated more is just beyond me. Because even though she's low key and doesn't have a lot of movie roles, she only has 49 credits. She was just always amazing. Some of the movies she started, her first big role was this blind woman in Manhunter, the original Hannibal Lecter story. And she didn't have a big part in it. That was one of her first roles. Then she made it bigger in Ice Storm. I'm sorry, not Ice Storm, but Tucker, about the car maker who she plays the wife in that. One of her first big roles. She was not nominated for that. She was nominated for Nixon, playing Pat Nixon, just amazingly in the Oliver Stone version of Nixon. And she was nominated for supporting actress, did not win, but along with Anthony Hopkins, just carried the movie. Oh, there's a lot of other great people in that, but we'll get to that whenever it comes up. So the next movie that she was in that was big was The Crucible, Arthur Miller's story, a remake of that, and she played Emily Proctor, or she played Mrs. Proctor, and again got an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress and did not win. Anyway, she was in The Ice Storm, which is one of my favorites. She plays this repressed wife of Kevin Kline, and again does a wonderful job. Pleasantville, then The Contender, where she played the first female nominee for vice president, and who had a checkered past and didn't end up getting the nomination, but she was nominated for best actress for this and didn't win. But she was really good. And one of her last really big roles. Now she's doing more supporting stuff. She also did a wonderful TV movie as Georgia O'Keeffe on TNT that was really good. Joan Allen. Check out anything she's in. You'll be happy. That's it for this week. We've got another one coming up next Sunday, hopefully, volume number 11. Till then, have some popcorn for me, and we'll see you later. Bye.